Hey guys, welcome to episode 61 of VoiceOFpunk. I'm your host, DJFpunk. So I just finished watching uh Sons of Anarchy season 7 episode 2. And this episode I actually like, even though I liked the season opener, I liked this episode better because this episode kind of reminded me of the Sons of Anarchy episodes from like season 2. There was a lot more light-hearted moments from the season opener, and it didn't feel as dark and depressing. It did kind of feel like that at the end of this episode, which I will get to that. Um, but for the remainder of the episode, it was very had a kind of more of a lightness to it compared to the season opener, which was really dark and depressing and brutal. So basically, what this episode is about is it's basically about Jack's plan, his plan of action against the Chinese, and against Lin. Which I was wrong. I thought Lin was for some reason killed off screen in the last episode, but you know, that's me without my glasses, and I thought I saw Lin being buried, but I was wrong. Yeah. So this episode is mostly about Jax coming up with a plan to take out the Chinese and Lin, and how he's going to take out every single member of Lin's gang until there's only Lin left, and he's going to make them suffer. One of my predictions is, since Jax explained his plan, I don't think that's really going to happen. I think Jax is going to find out the truth about Tara's death before that happens, before he can get to that point. So, and I'm just saying that just because he explained it to Jury, one of the other presidents of the other charters in the Sons of Anarchy. And I'm also going to talk about Jury too, because he has a really big role in this episode. But yeah, so he's explaining like his whole plan about taking out the Chinese, and like I said, I don't think that's going to get to that point. But I really do hope that this Chinese storyline is resolved in 2 or 3 more episodes. I hope this Chinese story isn't the entire season, because I think that'll be, for me personally, that'd be really underwhelming if this storyline between Jax and Lin is the main story for the last season. So to me, I think to end this story between Jax and Lin should be episode 7, because mostly in Sons of Anarchy, it's always episode 7 is the starter point for the next story for the rest of the season, and for the story at the beginning of the season to end, if that made any sense. But yeah, so we had this whole thing with Jax taking out I can't remember if it was a gun shipment or a heroin. I think they thought it was a gun shipment from the Chinese, and it turns out to be drugs. Which was a really cool scene. I love that scene where Chips is hanging off the back of the truck, and that was really cool. And I love the song that they play in that scene too. I was like, yeah, it's time to rock out. But there we go. Yeah, so what happens is he takes out the Chinese, and him and Chips find out that the gun shipment is actually weed. It's not weed. It's heroin. Which I didn't really get what the guy who they were interrogating said. I think he said they took August Marx's guns and then exchanged them for heroin. I think I couldn't really understand what he was saying. The guy was dying, so whatever. So then, and of course, when Henry Lynn finds out about this, he automatically thinks it was the Sons of Anarchy. And so he goes to Jax. He's explaining. And he's like, "Listen, I think this was you. You tell me it's not. I want a answer who attacked my crew in 24 hours. Or else I'm turning this town to a bloodbath, to like a massacre." So after Lynn says that, Jax and the Sons, they go to the people, these two guys who they have Jerry, who's the other president of this other charter in Sons of Anarchy. He hired these two muscle guys, just these two local, guys in their 20s. And who really did help out Jax and Chibs and the club during the whole raid on Lynn's men. And so seeing how Jax has changed, they blame the raid on these two puzzle heads, and they kill them. Jax, Chibs, and Bobby kill them. And then Jerry comes to look at them. He calls one of them Gabby, or Gibby, or Gabby. I can't remember. I want to say Gabby. I think that's more of a girl's name, but he calls one of them that. And when he finds them dead, Jerry starts sobbing and like cradling this guy, which also at that point shows the ending montage of Jax cradling Abel, his son Abel, the same way. So that gives me the impression that this guy, Gabby, was Jerry's son. And Jerry noticed the shotgun that was left at the scene. And he notices that was the Sons of Anarchy's guns. So that's going to be big right there. So I hope that, Jerry, I'm guessing, is going to have a huge role in this season. If this kid, Gabby, was his son. Which I'm pretty sure he was, just from the way they kind of played that scene out. Another story in this episode is Unser. And with Unser, you see he meets the new sheriff, who is played by Annabeth Gath. I'm so bad with names. I'm sorry, guys, but I think it's either Annabelle Gath or Annabeth Gath. And I heard a lot of people were actually complaining about the new sheriff, saying she was underwhelming, she was boring. But to me, I would say give this new sheriff a chance, because she's not going to come in with a charismatic personality. She's the new person. She's just trying to figure out how everything works. So to me, I understand why she was kind of low-key, kind of just sitting back and just asking questions, because you can't just come in and just take charge like that, That's what Eli did, and however that got him. Dead on Jax's floor. So she hires Unser, who got offered this job in the last episode, to be her investigation consultant, or consultant investigator. And Unser, who before this got freed by Juice, and really did catch on that, which was really cool. It showed the brains that Unser had. He knew exactly that Gemma was helping Juice. He doesn't know why, but he knows something's going on. And so after Juice lets Unser go. Unser goes to the sheriff, and Unser says that he wants the case of Tara Knowles' death. He wants to look at her murder, and that gives me the impression that either two things is going to happen. One, Unser is going to solve the murder and figure out that Gemma was the one who killed Tara. Or two, Gemma is going to kill Unser either before he finds out or when he finds out. I hope the first one happens because I really don't want to see Unser die. Because me personally, I love Unser. He's one of my favorite characters in the show, and that actually that was one great moment in this episode is where Unser goes to Gemma and tells her, "I know Jax is at Wendy's, and I know you're hiding him." And then you kind of notice his, I think it's kind of a undertone. I think it's kind of underplayed, but you kind of notice how bad his cancer is getting. Because even, I think even when he's in the sheriff's office, the new sheriff even mentions his cancer. And when he's talking to Gemma, he's very tired. He's worn out. Like when he sits down, he's like in pain. And even Gemma's like, I think her words were, "Unser, you look like shit." And then he says, I'm gonna go for a nap. So he goes for a nap, and he asks Gemma to make him some tea. And I thought, and I know probably many people thought, that Gemma was going to poison his tea. That's what I thought for like a split second. Turns out she doesn't, but that was what I thought in a split second. I was like, shit, no! But so he's sleeping in his trailer. Gemma brings him his tea and finds his paperwork on Tara's murder, which really makes me worried for Unser. I don't want him to get killed. I actually want him to survive the show, which I think would be great if like the man who's dying of cancer survives the entire show. So so there's that going on between Unser and the case of Tara and Gemma and Juice. But the more funnier moments in this show is between the bonding moments between I don't know if you can call this a bonding moment. I guess you could. Between Tig and Rat Boy. They have a pretty funny scene together in the car. That was pretty funny. And then the other bonding moments between Wendy and Nero, actually. And like that was a really funny quote where Wendy and Nero are getting able into school, and Nero asks, "So who are we going to be for? Like, who do we say that we are?" And Wendy goes, "I'm the nanny, and you're the gardener." And Nero just kind of gives her a look like, I'm going to pretend you didn't say that. So that was pretty funny. Also, like, with Nero, he goes on a meeting with the Mayans. He has a meeting with the Mayans, and Peter Weller's character, Haroski. And judging from this scene, I don't think Borowski is going to live. I don't think he's going to live to see the end. I will not, like, if he does get killed, I will not be surprised. I will be surprised if he lives to show. But just judging from what he's saying, what he said during the scene, I don't know who the Mayan there. I don't know who the Mayan was. I think he was he was Marcus' right-hand man, I think. But judging from how that scene went, I don't think that Borowski's going to live the show. We get a mention of Madame Claudette, and thank God she hasn't appeared because I just don't like her. I don't find her interesting at all. So if she doesn't show up during the season, I will be happy. I have a feeling she will show up probably one time, but whatever. So yeah, that was this episode, and like I forgot to mention about Juice. You see, Juice was given the opportunity to leave. Like Gemma gave Juice the keys to her dad's place, gave him about $43,000, and told him to take Wendy's car. He was going to, then he called Chibs, but he didn't say anything. And when Chibs answered, said hello, Juice hanged up, and then he went back to Wendy's house. So, like I said before, I think Juice is going to die this season. I don't see Juice actually going to the end. I think that Juice is he's either going to die by the hands of Jax. Is you do see there are promos of Juice going to Marcus and willing to give up information about the club. He's either going to die by the hands of Jax or he's going to sacrifice himself for the club. I don't know. I can see either two of those possibilities happening. I would hate for Chips to kill Juice because I love their little father-son or either big brother, little brother relationship. So I would hate for Chips to kill Juice, but I do think Juice is a goner this season. So yeah, this was the episode. I thought it was good. I just hope in the long run, I hope the Chinese storyline isn't dragged on all season. But Kurt Sutter surprised us, so maybe he will do something that will make this Chinese storyline a little bit more interesting, and at the same time just enjoyable to watch. But yeah, so I just hope this storyline with the Chinese doesn't be dragged out. I hope that Unser does not die. And I'm looking forward to what the next episode is. Like for me, I'm enjoying the last season so far. So I hope Jax finds out about Tara's death soon. That's really all I have to say. I hope he finds out about Tara's death soon. And I hope that Gemma dies. I would hate to see her live. But yeah, so that was this episode, and those were my thoughts and some of my predictions. Tell me what you guys saw of the episode if you guys watched it. Tell me what you guys think. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Tell me about the characters. Tell me whatever you want. Tell me about your day. I don't care. But tell me your thoughts. I would love to read your thoughts. And I will see you guys in the next video with